Hey, let's add Brent Wilsey. Brent Wilsey Asset Management in the studio on set with us. Hey, I got to ask you something real quickly. When we hear noise out of Washington, okay,
Yeah.
and
a lot of noise comes out of Washington, by the way.
why I get so many people asking me why the stock market is affected by that, because it's usually affected for a couple of days because of noise out of Washington. Why is that?
Well, I mean, because people are trying to get a heads up or head start on what's going on.
Okay.
You should ignore what goes on in Washington because it doesn't affect businesses that much. But the initial reaction is, and again, there's a lot of traders, and traders actually move the market. And you might have traders, yeah, that are trading,
Right.
and you'll just see that part. But the investors don't care about that.
Because we were just talking about traders a minute ago.
Right, the other spelling.
yeah.
Okay.
What do you got today? What's on your mind today, there, big
Well,
boy?
you know what's on my mind is that Friday's a jobs report. And
Yeah.
we
If you
report-
believe that sort of thing.
Well, okay, that's why I'm talking about this today,
Twisted
because
figures. Sounds like a rock group from the 70s.
and what people try to do, and that's why I want to try to clear the airs, and I use that report a lot.
Yeah.
But it's different for the investor. Everybody wants to be the politician. They want to beat up on the administration. They want to be an economist. And I tell people, don't do that. When I look at this report, I'm looking for things that I can use as a money manager. What is this going to benefit my companies as? And,
Yeah.
and a couple things I look at is, well, first off, look at the increase in jobs.
Right.
Very simple. Did they increase or did they decrease from last month?
Black and white.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
up or down?
because the good news about that is we don't care about how accurate the whole number is. We just want to know we had a starting point and a finishing point.
Right.
Is it
Yeah.
better this week than it was, or this month than it was last
Right.
month? That's actually that's a good point.
And let's
That
also
is.
point out, no one goes out and counts all these people got a job.
Right. Yeah.
These are extrapolations of a sample that they do. And that's what it is. So no one goes out and says, oh, there's actually 225,000 people.
Right,
No, it's not done that way. I mean, and that's why the numbers will move sometimes. But you still can use it over and over again. The other thing people get tied up in is the unemployment number. Oh, my gosh, it fell to 6.4, but that's not true because the unemployed and so forth.
Right.
I don't care about that. That's a political side of it. I care that it went down because more people got a job. That's a
Right.
positive for an investor because more people.
More people are working.
Right.
There's more
Right.
money being, that's
Right.
Yeah.
Another thing that is on the report that I tell people, not important now, but it will be, average hourly earnings, okay?
Oh, boy.
Now, is that I didn't? I used to follow that. And how is average hourly earnings doing right now?
Up 0.1, 0.2%. So I look at it each month, but it's not a factor now.
Does the story in Seattle change anything?
With the minimum wage, you mean?
The minimum wage thing.
No, because
Okay.
actually what I look at that, and the reason you used to look at it is we used to have something called wage inflation. We're going to have that again, but we don't have it now. So you look at the report, 0.1, 0.2%, don't care, not going to cost my companies that I'm invested in more money for wages. So
Okay.
look at it, but don't worry about it now. The big one that people talk about, all these jobs, part-time jobs and so forth.
Yeah.
If you look at the average work week, part-time versus full-time, a regular work week, maybe you guys don't work this much, 40 hours a week?
At least.
At least, okay.
God, this show drags me down.
I realize that I start my day, working day at 9 and end somewhere around 7:30. Every single day.
Yeah.
It's like a 10-hour day.
Yeah, it is. Every day.
Yeah.
But then except for the weekends, I'm vehemently defensive of my weekends. I don't do
constantly
any work
working.
on the weekend.
As a comedian, I'm constantly working. I never know where my next joke's coming from. I'm saying I'm 24/7, baby.
Okay.
All the time.
You go with that.
But for the average work week, people say, there's so many part-time jobs and these numbers aren't true and so forth. The average hourly hours worked right now is about 34 and a half hours. Now, that's very close to 40.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, that includes all the high school students, all the college students that work in restaurants, that work in, banks, and Jack in the Box and so forth. That brings it down. So if we had a lot of people doing part-time jobs, it wouldn't be 34 and a half. It'd be like 28.
Yeah, that's right.
So look at the numbers. Don't try to beat up like,
So you're
this-
extrapolating a little bit. That's good.
Exactly,
That's
and say, how is this going to benefit me? And then the last one, private payrolls. Now, this is the one that shows us how the economy is. It can show you the difference between government jobs and private jobs. Right now, a lot of private jobs, very few government jobs. That's a positive for the economy because it means businesses are growing.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about other positives for the economy. Factory orders and car sales.
Yes.
Factory orders and car sales. Car sales indicate consumer spending. Consumer spending, of
Right.
course, is a big component of GDP. And I think that's probably why you look at it, correct?
Right.
Talk about factory sales, or factory orders then.
Well, factory orders, again, this is a major factor when people say, the economy is doing well. Factory orders were up 0.7%. The estimate was 0.5. So they surpassed that. And last month, they revised it from 1.1 to 1.5. That's huge.
So what we're looking at is the economy higher on the food chain. That's what you have to think about. So if car sales dictate what retail buyers are buying, factory orders are indicating Well, car retail people are going to the auto dealerships. Auto dealerships are ordering from the companies. Companies are going to the factories, and so we're a little higher on the food chain, right? So do you compare the two to see if they're in line? Is that sort of thing?
Well, you kind of do, and the other thing I look at too is durable goods versus non-durable goods, and non-durable is less than 1 year. So this is a nice balance. So you did have car sales, you had other things as well going on.
Yeah.
Computers.
You're right.
Very strong. And what I also liked was something there called unfilled orders. Now, why is this so important? Unfilled orders are, as
future
I said,
sales.
Exactly.
Oh, the factory didn't make it yet?
But
they ordered it already.
But they ordered them.
Uh-oh.
So what does that tell you? Well, gee, as an investor, my product's going to be bought throughout the summer. So we should have a good summer. And that's why it's so important to look at this information as an investor, not as an economist, not as saying, oh, I hate Obama, so therefore I'm going to say this is bad. No.
Yeah.
How's it going to affect your business? How's it going to affect your investments is what I'm looking at.
How quickly do you have to jump on those numbers? I mean, you know what I mean? Before everyone goes, hey, man, everyone notices that there's more orders in it. There's all that stuff going on. Those first couple days, is that the key time to get into some of these companies?
Not really, because as an investor, you kind of look, again, as a trader, again, you might, but as an investor, you're saying, how's this happening 1 month, 2 months, 3 months? I mean, how's it happening over time frames? How are we building this? So it's not just factory orders, the ISM numbers, the PMI number.
Oh,
it's all these different things I look together.
You just gave me a little headache.
Okay. And I got to tell you, I love when this stuff comes out. I get so excited, like, I look at this, factory orders. Yeah, and then car sales.
Let's switch over to something that Russ will never have to worry about, but one thing is, of course, FACTA. Now, FACTA is not the Fair and Accurate Credit Transactions Act of 2003, but rather the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act of 2014, which is going to take effect in about 3-4 weeks here.
Yes.
Let's go through. It's, as FACTA looms, implementation and enforcement challenges are persisting, but it's scaring the snot out of investors. Why don't you explain what FACTA is first?
Sure. Well, FACTA is, it's going to be a tax. Let me explain what's going on the internet, because people are so confused, and there's people out there scaring the dickens out of people. Stuff I saw on the internet sent from my clients saying most people mistakenly think they're not affected by FACTA. If you are a U.S. citizen, it says, or you hold any of your money in U.S. dollars, this new law definitely affects you. Let me tell you. Not true.
Oh, good.
Number two, the more you trade and invest, the more likely you're going to get hit hard for this new bill. Not true. It is not difficult for an American taxpayer to be labeled defiant as part of this new law, and as soon as you are, you potentially become subject to a 30% tax. Not true.
All scary
threats, stuff. Let me explain why this is out there.
Yeah, what's interesting about this thing, if you go way back to and I remember you remember when there was rumbling several years ago.
Yes.
In a nutshell, foreign banks and brokerages have to report financial information to about accounts owned by Americans to the U.S. IRS, basically. So basically, we own accounts elsewhere.
Right.
Okay. This has been going on for years, though. There's even people as of yesterday wondering if this is ever going to take into effect in July.
Yeah, this is really nothing new, and all this is, you see on the internet, all this scare tactics is so people can sell. Buy my newsletter because I'm going to help you through this.
Oh, good.
Come to me because I'm going to sell you gold. Come to me. So it's all these salespeople.
So once again, don't believe the hype.
Don't believe the hype.
If it's too good to be true, it is. If it's too bad to be true, it's not.
It's not, yeah. And this only affects people that have money in foreign banks or foreign investment brokerages.
And it doesn't mean
what
if you have a
BMW?
But if doesn't, no, that's not.
Okay.
It's a U.S. traded company. It doesn't mean if you have a mutual fund that invests in international bond funds.
Yeah.
Either. These are investments. You're not parking your money at a Swiss bank.
Right.
Sounds
Think
like
of
a
it in terms
scam
of
type of thing
Right.
for Scam Man to talk about. That's they create a problem and then they have the only solution.
Right, yeah. And
There wasn't even a problem.
yeah, and we manage $154 million. Not one of our clients is affected by this.
Not even a dollar, Russ. Not even your dollar.
That's right.
That
Not
you
even-
have over there. Because he got him to 154 last week. Brent, thank you so much. We'll see assetmanagement.com. We'll see you later in the week, hopefully.